All right, Chapter 6 starts off by going through sales tax. Now what we're going to do in here, in this section is we're going to deal with, or this chapter, I mean, starts with cash purchases, like how much stuff costs when you buy it. Okay, now we're going to talk about this unit anyway, this whole overarching unit is going to be managing that and how to find the best thing. First thing when it comes to sales tax, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be computing sales tax, because sales tax it's a tax on the goods that you buy. Some states are a little bit different than others. Some cities are different than others, even in our state of North Dakota. It says sales tax, you just purchased a computer game at the electronics store. When you purchase it, you might have paid a state or local tax. A tax on the selling price of an item or service you purchase is a sales tax. Sales tax rate is usually expressed as a percent and varies from state to state. And I'm going to go a little bit further. It actually varies from city to city, because I know in our state there's certain cities that do not have a sales tax on it. The formula that you're going to use to find that today says sales tax is equal to the total selling price multiplied by the sales tax rate. Okay, I know in our community our sales tax rate is 7.5%. In other ones that I've lived in it was 5.5% or 6%. In some states, I know in Montana, they don't have sales tax on clothes, for instance, whereas in North Dakota they do. Minnesota, I think, also doesn't sales tax on clothes, or at least I know they used to. But anyway, the first thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to figure out what the total selling price is and then multiply it by the tax rate. Okay, so on problem number 1, it says Sandy Zupa bought an outboard motor for a total selling price of $420 in Maine, which has a 7% sales tax rate, and we need to calculate the sales tax. That's the only thing we're going to calculate. So we have to take 420 times 0.07, and when we get that number will tell us how much the tax rate is. So take 420 times 0.07, and I get $29.40. That's your sales tax. And that's number 1. Number 2 says Savannah Tyson purchased a vacation for a total selling price of $2,520. The Florida state sales tax rate is 6%, and the Gainesville state or sales tax is 1.25%. Now Gainesville is a community in Florida. Okay, so right now what they're doing is they're telling you the state is 6%, the city has a 1.25%. So for the total tax rate, you have to add those together, so you get 7.25%. I know in our state that we live in North Dakota, we're the same type of situation where the city that we live in is 7.5%, whereas the state's sales tax rate, I believe, is 5.5%, or maybe it's 6 now, can't remember. But anyway, you may have to add those tax rates together first. So then I take the 2,520 times it by 0.0725. Now remember, when you're multiplying it, that decimal needs to move 2 spots, 1, 2, to the left. So now using my calculator, and I type in 0.0725, I get $182.70. And that's how much sales tax would be. So larger purchase, bigger sales tax. Okay, that's what's going to happen for that. On the next few problems, 3 through 8, it's the same situation. To find column A, you're going to add up all the tax rates. So those are going to be percentages. So you're going to add the state and the city. That gives you part A. Part B, you take the total selling price and you multiply it by the tax rate to give you that problem. Now once you get to the words, they're going to have a couple things in there where it says they purchased this, this, and this. Okay, when it says you purchased a blanket, let's say for $39.95, and you purchased a mini blind for $24.95, and you purchased an adjustable screen for $15.95, and a 12-foot 8-outlet power strip for $9.49. You need to add up your purchases before you can start. So $39.95 plus $24.95 plus $15.95 plus $9.49. I purchased a total of $90.34. Then it goes on to say that in Massachusetts the state tax rate is 5%. So 5% as a decimal is 0.05. You got to move it 2 spots over. And the tax rate for that one would be $4.52. I rounded to the nearest penny. So for that particular problem or ones like it, it will say what's the sales tax, which that was this number right here. And then it says what's the total selling price. That was this number right here. Not purchase price, but selling price. We'll deal with purchase price another day. Okay? So with that particular assignment, that's as far as it's going to get. So on page 255 to 256, we're doing 1 through 11.